Hi.
Hey.
Yes, it's
Great.
working.
Yeah, it's working. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? You look amazing.
Thank you. I'm doing good too. And you look amazing too. Damn,
Oh,
it's
thank
great
you.
to talk to you.
Yeah, I miss you.
Such a long distance. Now even more that we can't tour and can't meet.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so
It's
much.
always good to see a friendly face.
The same, the same. I'm happy you want to join here on Floor Finds. Um, I have a nice question for you that's nature and planet related.
Okay,
Shall I just go ahead? There we
sure.
go. How do you see your role in this world when it comes to the well-being of our planet?
It's a very relevant question, especially nowadays. Very relevant.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I think that we all have a responsibility to take care of the planet Earth. Um, we are stewards of the planet, and we have to take care of our home the same way that you would take care of your house that you live in, or your tour bus that you live in, or your dressing room. Anywhere that you want to remain and be healthy needs time and attention. So I've always thought about respecting the planet in that sense, and I think that a lot of people do. I think most people do. I don't think there's so many people that walk around wanting to trash the earth.
Yeah,
The problem is that we've grown into a society that's dependent on certain conveniences and luxuries that actually do trash the earth, and we're just not made aware of that backstory to when we purchase or use the final product. So I think it's very important that we all inform ourselves so that we're aware of what we're contributing to when we do use, purchase, consume different products, services that are made available to us, because there's a lot of convenience in the world, which is what allows us to be so efficient and work so hard and have all these amazing technologies. But um, sometimes you do have to reevaluate if that convenience is worth the damage.
yeah, yeah. I totally agree. But I would also say that that's a huge task for the companies producing the products and actually offering a possibility to do that a little bit more nature friendly. And I mean, we can't now recycle. That's great. So we can buy a
Yeah,
product and then we can recycle it. But like you say, maybe we didn't need the product to start with, which is maybe a luxury to access it for the well-being, long during well-being. Not to
yeah,
mention that a part of this earth is too poor to have these luxuries, but are growing into, well, also having that possibility, which of course is equally important for everybody, but then even more important that we will learn how to take care of the stuff that we have, because it feels like, old days buying a laundry machine, you could use it for 20 years. I remember that from my parents, but if I
yes,
buy a laundry machine now, it breaks within 10. It's maybe
yeah,
good for 5. And then the whole thing is just, yeah, you throw it away and you buy a
yeah,
new one. Uh,
yeah. We have a very throwaway culture for sure.
yeah,
But I'm with you. I'm like your parents, you know. I almost every appliance that I've ever bought has been like off Craigslist. Like I buy the old one because I know it's built better and it
yeah,
lasts longer. I really love upcycling things. So I love taking
same here.
something and turning it into something else. So I've been turning my old t-shirts into masks actually
Ah,
this
cool.
year. Yeah, so I've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
sewing them into
that,
masks.
that's a cool idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't need to order it with online 100,000 at the same time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I think
cool.
it's important to point out also that taking care of the planet it's not just don't litter,
No,
reduce your use of plastic. Like those are important, but
yeah,
it's also taking care of everyone on the planet, and that includes
yeah,
all animals, ecosystems, other human beings, ourselves. Like this is all very, very important, and
yeah.
I feel like maybe there's not enough emphasis placed on that.
No, you're right. And the fact that we are so much part of it, that I see a lot of negative reactions online, at least, about people feeling very negative about the human race, as if we've been destroying everything. Oh, we are so cruel. We are so, and I agree with what you say that the majority is not. We
Yeah,
have the rotten apples in every basket for sure, and there's a lot of growing awareness that will change that, hopefully. But I think people want to do right if they would be informed better. And that's also, once again, governments and the big companies producing products stop using, certain products that just really destroy the planet, or stop using crop,
I
what is the
think
word? The poison used to keep crops.
the pesticides.
Pesticides. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of differences also in the world between what is allowed and not allowed. And I don't know
It
how it's
varies
in Canada,
from
but I know in the US a lot is allowed that would never be used here anymore.
yeah.
And I'm like, but why is this per country? This should be global, because we're literally poisoning ourselves on the long run, and we know it. And still,
well, it's undeniable right now, that's for sure. I think that this pandemic that we're currently in has really highlighted how we are one living, breathing being, all of us. Because if you abuse animals in a wet market or in illegal wildlife trade or in a factory farm or even in a non-factory farm, and you're abusing animals, there will be zoonotic diseases that will make their way over to the human race, which will then affect all humans, not just the poor, not just this race of human, not just the ones living in that country, not just the ones who are older or have some sort of condition. It will affect everyone. And so I think that, like you said, we really are one being, and all of us are just like these like cells in this living, breathing, sentient being that is planet Earth. And we have to take care of one another, because sickness in one area equals sickness all over. And of course, the huge corporations that are responsible for producing all the products and services that we all consume, we like to put the blame on them because they're the ones doing it. And I feel like as consumers, we can sometimes feel helpless, because it's like, well, what do I do? Like, do I knock on their door and yell at them? Do I sign a petition? Do I protest outside of their building? Like, what do I do? And so that's why I always tell, like, anyone that asks, I always tell them that the best thing that you can do, which is free and really easy, is just to inform yourself and make the choices for what you are going to spend money on based on the companies that align with what you think is right, what you think is the most beneficial for the planet. So that's why it's like being vegan, for example, it doesn't cost anything. Like, it's free. All you have to do is just choose to eat the plant-based option over eating the animal-based option. And so that's one way that we can actually gain a little bit of control, even though we don't have the power to actually overthrow laws or government subsidies or corporate regulations.
No, exactly. No, that's the frustrating part. But it has to start somewhere, and it has to start with us ourselves, and be aware, as a consumer, what you consume and what the policy of a company is. Certainly, because there are more and more healthier options, and even small things. I mean, I'm big on recycling, but I still feel that I'm recycling, for instance, still a remarkable amount of plastic, just because everything I buy is wrapped in plastic, and instead of less, it seems to still get more. They wrap every separate cookie, and it's like, but now I'm going to stop buying cookies. That could be one thing.
And you can make them instead.
And then make them instead,
I'll send you my recipe.
Now that I'm home, I can actually do that. And I have plenty of time to do that with my daughter Freya, who enjoys the process very much. That's a lot of fun. But in that world where we are having the busy life and where things are just rolling on, how can we learn from what is happening now, where life is just slowing down, which gives us the time to, basically reevaluate so many of these kinds of things. I would really like to dream that would make an essential difference. How many people did not enjoy the cleaner skies in cities like LA, and I know in India, God knows many smog cities that cleared the skies all of a sudden, that the waters in Venice were so clean that only the old people can remember that it once was that way. That is something you want to preserve and hopefully protect. And I found it personally very stimulating to see that that nature is so regenerative. Help me with that word,
Yes.
please.
Regenerative. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just realized that living in Sweden now, as a Dutchie, I have not been speaking very much English lately because I do that when I'm on tour. But home now, I speak Dutch or Swedish, so my English feels a bit rusty.
Oh, your English is it's perfect.
Thanks, but still, some words are a bit difficult. But yeah, I found that so incredibly wonderful to see how nature just bounced back, and that means that there is still a lot of chance. There's plenty of hope to not give in to all the negative, like but we're ruining the planet and it's D-Day and we're all gonna die. Because I think that is fear mongering doesn't really result into action. It just makes everybody like this. It doesn't make you active, but optimism and hope and options and ideas of what can I do, that makes a difference. And me running washable diapers instead of the plastic shit that you can buy and put your baby into resulted into my daughter being out of her diapers before her second birthday. So the amount of diapers that I never used, I hope that made a difference. I even have a coffee filter made of just fabric instead of the paper ones that you throw away, because now I don't throw them away. You have them too.
Yeah.
I use soap bars because they're pure soap. It's not already
there's no bottle
water and then put into plastic for you. Even on tour, it's at least it doesn't leak into your luggage.
So, right. I missed that.
Leaking stuff into your luggage.
Just hair products everywhere and
there's so much to be done, but it still feels like it's expensive. It's more expensive to find. You need to already be very committed in order to find the products, because walking into a big supermarket, as I did today, it does not really give me the feeling that much is being done.
I think it depends on where you are, and I think it depends on where you are, because for example, and I'm sure you see this also, if you're in a bigger city on tour, it's much easier to find vegan and environmentally friendly options, whereas if you're in a smaller town, maybe it's just more like straightforward, one type of each thing. It's the interesting thing for me is because I've been vegan for so many years now, literally 22 years.
Wow.
Oh my God, I'm so old. Okay, so so I've been vegetarian my whole life, and I've been vegan for 22 years. So I have been doing this for a long time, and I have seen, and I can say this so confidently, there's such a growth in the interest for this. So even though right now it might feel like, oh, well, it's kind of hard to find a shampoo, for example, that's not tested on animals. Let me tell you, like 20 years ago, it was impossible. So it's like there's so many options now. And then even brands that are these big global brands who maybe they don't have a cruelty-free stance on their products, they're still starting to offer cruelty-free products. So that to me is very encouraging. And it shows me that the power of the consumer is strong, because they're seeing that, oh, well, people buy this one more. And actually, if we don't make it vegan and cruelty-free, then we're cutting off a whole population that may want to buy the product. And not only that, if I see that someone is putting in the effort to make their product or their food or whatever it might be without harming animals or without harming the environment, I want to support them now. So even if their product is $1 more or whatever it might be, I'll pay that because I want to support them. That being said, I'm not wasteful, and I will use every last drop of that product, but I will still go and support them. And it's interesting what you said too about not giving into the negativity. I was recently reading this study, and I wish I could remember what it was called, but basically it was comparing forms of activism. And it was saying that if you bombard people with statistics, so this many billions of animals are killed per year for food, this many billions of liters of water are contaminated every year. If you give them statistics like that, they feel overwhelmed, they feel guilty, and they feel negative, but they feel hopeless. Whereas if you show someone, for example, and this is one thing I really like about Instagram, is there's quite a few of these like celebrity pets, like Esther the Wonder Pig, for example,
Okay.
different farm sanctuaries. If you show someone a pig, a duck, a cow, for example, and you just show them how funny their personality is and how interesting this creature is and all, what's their lifespan, how do they react to one another, what do their different calls mean, how do they care for their young, then people start to form a connection with that animal, and then they actually want to take action more than when they're just bombarded with this like sea of statistics.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I found that interesting, that the story of one has more of an effect than the story of billions.
yeah, yeah. You're
But
right.
that plays into, you know, human nature, that we empathize when we can visualize one
Yeah,
being.
yeah,
Um, you know, it's the same thing with when there's like tragedies that strike hundreds of people or thousands of people, we feel bad. But if we see the story of one person in a tragic situation, it almost affects us more.
yeah, yeah. We go into depth more and we can relate better. And yeah, yeah, that's absolutely true. That's, yeah, that makes a very big planet with so many of us on it so much smaller. And that's, I can imagine that matters also with big companies that are so big and so worldwide that it's an inaccessible big thing. It could almost be seen as an enemy. Whereas many of these big corporations actually do really give that effort to go into more personalized products that fit to the ones that are more aware already, and it can grow from there. I heard a cool story about a company doing a lot of recycling. So if you buy a product, you basically buy the rights for recycling. You don't even actually buy it. It's more like you borrow it, and when
Mm-hmm.
it breaks, you bring it back, and everything gets recycled, and then you get
I
a new
love that.
one, or you
Yeah.
even get a new one before it goes bad, because then they can still reuse the thing, so you don't have to throw away a very big, well, laundry
Right.
machine. Once again, as an example, those kinds of initiatives will make huge difference. So that's very
It's so
hopeful.
smart. Yeah,
Yeah,
it just makes sense. I mean,
yeah,
and I'd also like to point out, like, as trying to give advice on the subject as much as I can, being, you know, someone who's just doing my best as well, is that it's a journey, you know. So it's not like you have to be perfect right away. You know, for me, it's very clear because I've been doing it for so long. It's
yeah,
very easy and it's very clear. But if you're just starting out and you're like, well, okay, I'm not going to eat meat anymore, but I really like my, I don't know, shaving cream, and I don't know where else to find a vegan version of it. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, finish the bottle, do your research when you can, and you'll find something, you know. But you don't have to sell your car and never, you know, like, you can still live your life in a productive way, and just every time you have the option and you have the time and the headspace to think about how can I improve this, just
mhm,
go ahead and do that, because then from then on it's
yeah,
improved. You know, like, once you find like, oh, that's a vegan shaving cream, all right, now that's my go-to. Like, now you can
yeah,
cross that off your list, and that's one more thing that you've transferred from the doing harm pile into the doing good pile.
yeah,
And you know, just every day you can make these little switches, these little choices, and just enjoy the journey. And you don't have to, like, talk about it, you don't have to tell anyone about it. If you want to help other people, you can, but just know the reasons that you're doing it. You
yeah,
know, for me, it's always been animals first and foremost. For someone else, it might be their own personal health, or it might be uh, the actual protection of the environment, or it might be wanting to reduce plastic, like you said.
yeah,
But you know, do the best you can, and when there's not a solution for something, try to find one. You can also, you know, for me, for example, like a lot of my fans know my favorite food ever is raspberries. I love raspberries. I've tried to grow a bush so I can just have them without a plastic package.
mm.
It's not working. But
Sweden, they grow everywhere here.
oh my God, I wish. So that's
Wildlands
one
too.
thing for me that I've just been trying to figure out, like, how can I get them without the plastic package? Because I'm the same. I'll bring my own bags, my
Yeah,
own jars,
yeah,
and when I go to the store, I'll put the nuts or seeds in my own jar, so there's no
yeah,
package. Fruits and vegetables, I buy them raw without a package. You know, I make a lot of the stuff myself from scratch, so there's no package. But raspberries, for me, that's been my big one. I'm like, they don't sell them out of the package because they would be all smashed. So still working on that one.
yeah. That's tricky, but that's a good journey then. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a nice idea to grow them, but not so practical when you're on tour. But
Yeah.
maybe there's a local farm nearby where you can just drove by. Like here in Sweden, we have when it's in season, the strawberry fields they open for people. So you bring your own bowl, they weigh the bowl, and then you go and pick your own berries, and then you weigh it again, and you pay for the amount that you bought, which is super nice.
I
Yeah.
think there might be something like that here. I know we have that with apples because we can grow apples here. I'm gonna see if they have that for raspberries because that would be perfect. I would just go fill like a whole barrel every week.
Oh, wonderful. Well, it was so nice to talk to you about this. I hope people feel inspired to try their best to make their yeah more do something, because I think when everybody does, things are surely improving, and just the awareness of things are improving, and we are doing so well as part of this human for as nature is as well. Also, our latest album, of course, describes human and nature. We are so much part of it, so it's so important to feel related and to feel part of this amazing, beautiful planet, because that just inspires to go out there and be there and and do your share if you can. It should not be a luxury product. It should be something that everybody can do. So thanks for your thoughts on this. And
absolutely, yeah. And I hope that everybody just, you know, if you're feeling overwhelmed from like the negativity in the news and on social media and just overwhelmed with the bombardment of you should do this and we did this and we messed up and all of that, just don't take that on personally as guilt. Don't take that on as an attack on yourself. Just take it as a springboard to be motivated to go and change and do something better, because we can always do something better, even if it's just you figure out how to wash your clothes better. Change your coffee filter or eat your raspberries or whatever. We can always all improve, and we're all improving every day. So take it as a positive. Take it as, okay, cool, I still have somewhere to go upwards, you know?
Upwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a really lovely note to end on. Thank you so much for your time. It's so good to talk to you. I really hope we can meet in person soon when life moves on after the pandemic. But until then, I hope you have a good time with being at home and enjoying life as it is. And hope you stay happy and healthy.
Same to you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.